Another episode, Kwande_BPM. Ngihleli namajimbo. Hamba siqale nalo mcimbi wale Kwande nepartnership yethu namaqithiqithi aba basibukeleyo bazawafumana nabo. Masiqale ngokusesikweni size notata wakhona.
Ukubona noxanisa enkundleni ngaphambi ubani bendithetha nabantu abadala nithetha nezinyanya niqale nishwame nenze lonto le. So before samkele indwendwe zethu siyashwama. Bakufuna utata iglass shwame fundini.
Awudikela ivulile. Yima phambi koba kathele yonke lonto leyo. Kwi episode edlulileyo bafuba ukhona nawapha. Yendathi pha kwaba khona amaqithiqithi ekambeni kwexesha. Wayiphosa avukela. Dikela.
Ngawula.
Uzawushonyolwa ngutshonyana? Izindlukutsha.
Izindlukutsha.
Isiduko zami zimbini ke kubandi naso nesasebukhosini emachaweni. So phofu right ke lento iphakathi.
Dikela ngodikela.
Bani phakathi. Yeah.
Sasikhalele. Bensatsho ke nisari sihleli nomfo ozenayo le idea. I-idea yeKwande lena ndingatsho ndithi izalwa pha emaqwathini. Qwathi lo.
Ononi.
Yeah, mqwathi lo mfana.
Anibanga kodwa guys.
Ayingumhlaba lo.
Asiyawazi lokho ubusela so ndifuthi anifuni ukungena amapolisa sinaba ukuthi hey iwe le.
Manje kwamntu iselayo. Awushiye kumnu yedwa qhuba. Hleli noLunga Tukani. Lunga siyakwamkela Kwande_BPM.
Ndiyabulela kuKwande for having me in the studio.
Yeah, khabula mfundi singakhabuli sodwa kanti kukuthi.
Hayi ipheka iglass.
Bet. Yama ngechini.
Masitsibele.
Yitheni.
Yima thenga ukone rooibos ndifunda apha kule botini ngoku ngiyayiva ihansi ndiye ndafunda phansi bukhona ungaphunga boy
Ngicela ufundisa into encinci nje ne kukho lento mos xa kusehlantini kuyashwanywa ke kuthiwa ibethe emqaleni mntanami so lanto iyayimosha and undermine lo muntu udistilayo because uThixo wasiphulwimi basitaste ngalo ngoku idlula ngo120 apha elwimini ifike emqaleni seyikhawuleza ifike ivali so xa uyitaste ke uthi nciphi kancinci nje ukudlala ngayapha elwimini before uyiginye ngatsho ke sokeni like umuntu xa ipasela ibhola uyithi chest akancama icup iyayeka
Uno sondela nje apha sizokuvaka
kuwe uyafuneka ujonga kuwe.
Okay, so ke ngokusuggesta xa senza imicimbi sisebenzisa uKwantu singaleqi ezathothi
khayive lento bedidiyelo apha elwimini because it tastes buds lapha
yima ke kukho into enasoloko ndinomdla ngayo phambi kwasiyondlala yonke lento. Asinikezi ngamfihlo intoni lapha?
Okay, i-gin ne i-vodka but the departing short from i-vodka to i-gin zi-juniper berries then uba ne-gin ke yona. And then i-gin, the nice thing about it, you can play with the botanicals noba zeziphi. So kulena sidlale nge-rooibos hence uyibona ikhala yayo ibomvu.
Taste yavakala nayo khona rooibos ekhoyo.
So
hayi zikwazi hayi
surely ukhuluphunga kokweni
ndisaphunga nangoku
nansoke
not lena kaloku ningabantu batheni.
So if you remember ke i-rooibos ibiyinto ongagaliswe ke lininzi so asithanda uyidesha le
andigaleli kwasokile
ufake amaqhekeza ke ice mhlawumbe ufumane islice lemon ukhuyive i-rooibos njani.
So asinatyala pasta if sivuka kusasa ukuthi mina ndiphunga iKwande uyabo ibe iti yakho wena yakusasa
kaloku inento
yavula iziphunga
hayi ke ngoku yabona
angiba la kwa
sikoyika
Lucas masiqale eqaleni ivele njani i-idea yakho yoba mawuvele nale gin?
Okay, into ye gin ne ngo2019 ndihamba nesikole ndiya eMexico. And then go day 2 having arrived in Mexico kubekho i-class of psychology of Mexican, but what the class was about was to understand the culture of Mexicans. So abantu base-Europe in the main in business i-contract into enkulu and it's legally binding, nothing happens without the contract. I-Mexicans ndingatsho ba sinazo similarities between bona nathi because bona into zachuba we call it informal, but the main thing that they look at before they commit any long-term relationship, whether ngumtshato, whether it's a business relationship, they want to make sure that they can trust you. So in that process of sussing you out that, you know, they can trust you, they'll take you out, they'll expose you to drinks zabo, which is a tequila. They will take you out to eat their food. And if you are not fully immersed, you know, if facial expressions are you're not comfortable, then they are also not comfortable.
Yeah.
So you can present all your ideas, but if you're showing that you're not for them, then it doesn't work. Yeah. But in that class, we were just asked, you know, what comes to mind when one mentions the word Mexico. And then people spoke of pecan bites, they spoke of drug cartels. Yeah. And then in my mind, I thought of a hangover from a tequila, which is what we are accustomed to. Because there's shots at tequilas, So this was disputed, and then kwabuzwa ngeyiphi le brand tequila ndithetha ngayo ndayilibala ke. And then 10 minutes later after class movie from that point, you know, the word came to mind, and then the missing class, and then okay, no guys, you know, I won't mention it now, but I mentioned it then. Then the guy said, no, this is not a Mexican brand, no wonder you guys are having a hangover, you know. But the nice thing at the end of this lecture, you know, which is also on our website, where I tell the story and I show the pictures, the lecture gifted us with a bottle of Don Julio, which is their authentic Mexican tequila. And then after that day, we decided, Namachita, we're going to put this tequila to the test. And we had some beers, we drank the tequila, and the next day we were in class.
No babalas.
So I think the inspiration came from that day, but it took me the first year of lockdown. You know, now I was consolidating what have I learned from the MPA, and what is it that I can do, because we've got so many challenges, you know, in our communities. One of the challenges, you know, it's becoming difficult day in, day out to do a business allocation, but we are also closing as in tabs. I'll make an example. When I was a student at Tech, I used to drop a garage, you know, and if I were to consolidate, you know, my journey of studying IT, then the part, you know, that experience played, not only financially to assist the parents, but also it exposed me to, you know, a customer service, serving cars on the forecourt. And if our businesses are closing down, we're actually inhibiting the future generation to have the same opportunities. So in my reflection, I realized in lockdown, but Abandu were so grateful, you know, in the height of scarcity of alcohol. The few that I had, you know, I would normally share it, and I could just see, you know, the jubilation from Abandu, calling them to say, you know, Nepotil. Then I decided, you know what, let me start my own thing, because it looks viable.
Isuka could take it or leave it.
The concept was born. But also, you know, we were speaking about Indu Ngunjen, you know. I think only after a while, one realizes that the brands we use, you know, we found meaning in them. You know, otherwise now you go back and think about, okay, le bottle the product is a France le. So the one other thing as well in my reflections in Mexico, when you land at the airport, you can actually identify with the culture of the country. Because as Mbondo bona kule bottle, but the Mexicans, they also the only difference with them is that they take it beats and then they believe eso skull, it protects them from natural disasters.
So nayo ibana la pali bekwa kuyo pha ekhaya okanye bayenza njani?
You can put it inside the house, you can put it outside the house, inside the yard. Yeah.
Okay. Now the process ngokhawuleza nje xa ukudibanisa igin zininzi endizibonayo zisenzeka, and mininzi nemidubulo ekhoyo, and into ifaka ngomlomo wakho inayo nempilo yakho. Please explain, how safe is the process? Okanye mhlambi mandithi singayithemba. And did it go through zonke the processes?
No phinda ukongeza because abanye abantu thina understand ufike pha uyacama kusho ngoba utywala bomhlophe because ijini siyazi ngoba utywala bomhlophe siyalento but le ibomvu ke ngoku. Yabo?
Ikhona nomhlophe.
Okay. Okay, but ijini nale
omadi.
Okay, sure.
Nantsizile nje nayo akuzosibona.
But it did go through as a processes inspection by into writing enakubulala abantu ithemba ke.
Okay. So i-gin lena ne yenzwa e-brick makers distilling. So i-distillery lena it must first pass the test yona qala ibe accredited.
Yeah.
And then on the product side, before you make any product, you send the spec of the product and the product itself to a Department of Agriculture. And then they will analyze it ke abantu abasebenza lab, and then they will issue a certificate. So those processes have been done. I think the biggest obstacle from the day the concept was born until having a bottle was actually to look for a distilleries. Because a night distillery. The brand is mine, the concept is mine, everything Kwande, the trademark is under my name as well. But that took me some time. I think it took me about 8 months. Went to Cape Town, went to Joburg. In as much as Cape Town, I think it's known for as like the Mecca of it in South Africa, but it wasn't going to be viable for what I want to achieve. So luckily I found a distillery up at PE, and I think the proximity.
Emveni kohamba ushiya indawo. Kanti la
uyakwazi udlula endaweni
awujongi bakwenzeka ntoni phakathi.
So that's the process again.
And I think elhlobo utsho ngalo wena Lunga inoba abuya khona mhlawumbe uye eGauteng okanye uye nje usitsho Western Cape bazafuna ualigna nale main yabo ikhoyo ichifihlakale ke ngoku phansi kwayo ngehlobo bezayenza ngayo. I think inoba yayizinye zizo challenges ezothela ngayo.
I think also to take pride, so the positioning of the brand Kwande ne, having said that, as izixhobo sisebenzayo enkundleni in the main, Tina, we found meaning in them. We just resonated, but they were not made for us. But the concept for this, I think we can identify with Imbondo, which is what the brand is about. It's also about the representation of izinto esikholelwa kuzo. And I think it was worthwhile. Ibela PPE, closer to home. As umuntu ukhulele up and still stays here as well.
Yep. Lastly, iyafumaneka nationally nikhona ezivenkileni okanye abantu ba order somewhere online nje buchilo wathi nayo website.
Okay. Business ne, I think let me just address something before I get to the real thing. A business, to start it, you're always encountered with the challenges. And if you look at the challenges, you might not get to anywhere. You're just going to look at them and you praise those challenges and never get anywhere. So the one challenge that we had was a distribution network, and it would be nice to have Kwande so we distribute the pellets nationwide, it be available everywhere in South Africa. But the issue is it's not known. Now your products sit in the shelf and the retailer gets a little bit pissed off because you're not moving and you're taking up their space. So for the first 3 years or so, we've decided that let us introduce the brand like a platform as Fananese, help to build up awareness. So I think from when we've started, we have grown. You will get Kwande, Colchester, Tops. That was strategic because umntu ophuma nongenayo if ufune ihamba idlane umisa pa Tops Colchester abantu abadala babe sorted.
Good.
Ikhona Newton Park at Tops, ikhona Second Avenue Newton Park just next to Tiger Will and Tire, ikhona Forest Hill Blue Liquors. For the guys that are out of time, I've got a distributor, King, and Nomdu Joburg. And then for anyone else, it's in our website, you can buy online. We've had people buying online since we went online.
Website.
It's www.kwandecraftgin.co.za.
Good. Lula njolo hlobo nobuda na eMzantsi Africa. In fact, in the world. Ungakwazi ifumana. Mhlawumbe umuntu useNamibia, mhlawumbe umuntu useAmerica.
Namibia
nantsika yabonke product yala. Sure.
And kubhaliwa apha guys, Kwande.
Apo Tata Kwande. Itlo uthuta Sotho. Just to add to your band.
More onkileng ting ho ade ho ia ho
Uyozithengela ibhotile yakho yekwande otherwise sawuhlala sesiza.
I think the more sela ke ngoku uzawudibambe landa ogqibela.
Thank you.
Mo onkeleng teng ho ate ho ayile.
Mosanyana kanyane ndazi.
So the more iseli kwande the more
Iza koluleka ulwimi
naloluleka.
Lengajibiliki qamda lapha.
Lunga zona hlobo bezama ubhiyozela ipartnership yethu nabo zonke guests zethu ezawufika sithi ibhotile. Nabo bazabe bekhomenta nabo kwi-episodes zethu. Ngokukhona kwethu nako kwe-discretion yethu savele sithi boom bhotile noba ngubani na noba uphina sikuthumelela.
1 2 1 2
Makwande kuthatha khona.